Welcome back to the Precision Trader. Today's video, as usual, we're going to go over a recap of the market and what we've seen today using the order book, buy and sell orders in their resting in the order book, and how we could use that to had some really nice entries and exits. So with that said, let's jump into it. If you haven't watched previous videos, go back. A lot of education. SPXL course is what we use to be able to look at the overall market, the SPY. It's a triple leverage ETF of the SPY or S&P 500, and it allows us to get an idea of whenever the overall market is, because again, 3 out of 4 stocks are going to go up with the overall market of the SPY and down with it as well. So with that said, this is what we looked like today. We see that we were just kind of bouncing around. It was a Fed day. Fed was speaking, so that's always, you're always going to get a mix of sideways and then pumping up and down. And you can see here today, once the Fed started, just before they came on, when they started speaking, we started getting the market pop all over the place. So with that said, we're looking for major bands of liquidity for bounces and rejections. So with that said, we see that we came down here, got a nice, actually bounced at the 113 liquidity, pushed all the way up to almost 115. We see right there at 115. There was sellers really ready to take some profit. They did, knocked it all the way down to the 113 and the VWAP. And then, we started getting some of our Fed volatility, ends up pushing up to 115 real quick. I actually mentioned to the group too, that I was taking a short there, and sure enough, it dumped almost $1 real quick and in a hurry. And then it also dumped all the way back down to 113 and then popped right back up to this 115. Now 115.40 had built up in the book, and sure enough, that knocked it down, knocked it all the way back down to the buyers at 113, pushed it all the way. So as you can see here, extremely powerful to be able to use SPXL for the overall market. This is an extremely powerful, because again, if you just try to look at the SPY, I mean, it's just, there's just so much liquidity in there, you can't tell what's what. Whereas this ETF right here, this triple lever, this gives you some extremely valuable. So again, if you're not using this, again, I have this up all day long, as well as a SPY chart. So I want to know what it's doing whenever I'm entering my other stocks. So that's SPXL. With that said, let's look into, well, first of all, let's look at our server. If you haven't had a chance to come check out the server, please do. A lot of great content. You won't regret it. So I'm going to check out our pre-market prep. For the last 2 days, we were expecting retest days, pushing back up to 440. And then as you can see today, we were looking for the SPY to push back up to 440, and which we got that. The only way that wasn't happening is right here was if we break the 429, 430 support. Jay Powell speaks. Market likely to pump to 440 and then move sideways as the market tapering, as we get the market tapering details. One other key that we got a 1 hour candle on top of the 15-minute 50 MA. That was a great sign of, it was time to push up, because yesterday we kept rejecting at the 50. We couldn't get that 1 hour candle on top of the 15. So we just kept rejecting off of that, that moving average. Sellers were loaded there. Computers were loaded there. But again, so that was today. And just show you the chart. This is what we were looking at. Pretty much when we diagnose any stock, we always have a 1 hour, a daily, and also to a weekly chart when we diagnose any stock. Okay, that gives you a nice short-term, daily, and weekly. Yeah, that's if you want to bring your trading to another level, you gotta be able to see that. So with that said, as far as plays, just to give you a quick insight, this is what we looked like for plays today. This was a nice play, sent this out in the pre-market, looking for Tesla to retest 739, 740, and then bounce to 750 liquidity today. So anyway, because again, I'll show you when we look at the chart. Also to Facebook, good liquidity at 345 and 340. Looking for scalp bounces at those levels. See here, we took profit on that. Didn't get our Netflix entry short, never pushed up to 600. Roku, didn't get our short on that, didn't push to 330, but it's getting ready. URI, we got a nice short at 345, got that one, took the profit on that. And Tesla shorting at 750. So again, that was, taking profit off that. So that was, so that was today's plays. Went extremely well. Let's get back to our order book. So with that said, Tesla, since you can see we talked about that. We'll see why I talked about in the pre-market that I was looking for a test of 740 buyers, 739 to 740, and then a push up. Okay, so just to show you what I was looking at in the pre-market. This is what I saw in the pre-market. Pre-market, I saw 739, 740, nice band of liquidity. And again, I know I always want to keep the overall market in the back of my mind. I knew that the overall market wanted to push today. So my bias was to the upside. So again, I was hoping and based on this liquidity that Tesla would come down, find support on these buyers, and then we would get the push along with the S&P up to 750. So what happens? Hold on, let me verify what candles I'm on. Okay, we're good. Got the 1 minute. So sure enough, we come down to 739. We've seen that 739, 740 liquidity, a lot of it in the pre-market. Sure enough, it comes down and kisses 739. And then it is, pushes up from there, a little sideways, and finally gets on top of the VWAP. Support, support, support. What's that telling us? We'll get nice support candles on top of the VWAP. We are heading to the next major level of liquidity, which in this case was 748. You had a little bit here at 749, 746. A little bit of rejection in there, $1 or so. Not a bad little scalp, but really the big level, we want to focus on the big levels. Again, we want to be on that dollar increments to be able to see that 50 cents, sometimes the 50-cent increments, but primarily the dollar increments on your large cap. So with that said, pushes to 748. I actually got in for a little scalp here and 749 and ended up pushing all the way back to 746. So nice $2 to $3 rejection off of that. But again, in the market, I said we're looking for a push to 750 because again, big old band of liquidity at 750, and sure enough, it finally got there. Needless to say, that was a great short opportunity. And it's not guaranteed, but it's about as close as you can get to, a nice little $2 to $5 scalp. So with that said, ends up pulling back to 747, little $2.50 scalp, and then pushes back up to the 750 liquidity. The buy, a lot of sellers there. They knocked it all the way back down to $3, knocked it down $3. And then, we end up testing it again. We see that it pushes through, comes back down, and then recovers, support. But again, we had right here at 752, we had sellers, which if I get on the 50-cent increments, as you can see here, there was, and again, I was shorting at 750, 751, and 752. Because again, this was the third retest of this liquidity. You can only hit on like liquidity so long before you finally absorb all the orders in that area. So it's kind of a 50-50 whenever you get, if you get, the second, first one, I'm very confident. Second one, pretty confident. Third one, not so much. And the third one, I want to see, like we have here, more liquidity sellers within $1 increments. That gives me the confidence to jump back in a scalp short. Because take for instance, if these wouldn't have been here, no Fed day, these were not here. It jumps up on top of this liquidity support. I'm playing to the next major level of liquidity. So nope, that is for sure. So if you haven't watched previous videos, we're going a lot of There's more education entries and exits, that kind of thing. So pushes down. We see that buyers came in right here at 749 to buy it right back up. And they push it right to the 751 liquidity, knocks it right back down. And they try to buy it back up at 758. This was beautiful right here. You see this? Comes down. Sellers come right back into the book right here at 50. That tells you they're going to knock it straight back down. I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, this is a 90-something% guarantee of a knockback, and knocked it right down to the VWAP. So again, we had the Fed come in, volatility started spiking up, the SPY started pumping, and sure enough, pumps up to the 150, pushes through it, support. What does that tell us? We start getting these support candles. And again, that's why I like to have these 1 minute candles, so I can see these individual support candles. Whereas it's just a 5 minute, it's just, just pushes through it. I want to see the 1 minute. I want to see the one. I can see us getting support candles on top of this liquidity. That's telling me that where we're heading to the next major level. And in this case, it ended up pushing up to that 752 liquidity, knocked it all the way back to 750. And then finally, again, the SPY was pumping. So this was actually a good entry here, because you got this liquidity right here that, that we got on top of at 750, and, SPY is pumping. So yeah, that was, made it pretty confident. So with that said, pushes to 753, knocks it back $1.50, and then proceeds to push all the way up. I can't remember if I got orders filled at 754 or not, or just under 754, because again, I don't put it right at the click. You're always just below. So with that said, it knocks it down all the way to 750. So that was Tesla. Easy money on Tesla. What was the other play we had in the order book or this morning? Yeah, URI. Yeah, this was it. We were looking for a $2 scalp on URI, United Rentals at 345, and we got it. $2 rejection back to the VWAP. So was out of that, didn't pay attention to it anymore the rest of the day, which I should have, because I didn't realize it pumped 350, because I definitely would have had orders ready at 350. And we see that honestly it didn't get all the way to 350. We had 349. The sellers started building up pretty good, and they ended up knocking it all the way back down to 345. So hopefully this one stays nice and volatile tomorrow. That'll be a nice one to play again. Easy peasy. What else did we mess around with today? What was the other one that we said? I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, let me do AMC for the AMC zealots. You gotta give it to them. They got faith, huh? But don't want to rely on hopes and dreams of squeezes and all that. Much better to rely on, what does the order book? What do the orders actually show? Again, this takes priority. The order book takes priority over every other indicator. It really does. I mean, this is the first thing, your primary leading indicator, and then all your other indicators. There is one other leading indicator that we have in the precision indicator course. But other than that, that's the two. This is primary, that the other one's a secondary. But after that, everything else is lagging. Your RSIs, your MACDs, all that. So with that said, those just help confirm the order book. So just keep that in mind. Again, if you see your RSI is overbought, oh man, it's, or oversold. Oh man, this thing's got to bounce. Well, I don't see a big band of liquidity in the order book. I don't care how overbought your RSI looks. Again, it has to be backed up by the actual, because again, the order book is price. Price is is what dictates where your indicator goes. All right. So with that said, here was AMC. As you can see, if you zoom out here to the dollar increments, which, as you can see, tons of liquidity at 40 to 41, and then a lot of buyers at 37 to 38. So that tells you right there, for the most part, you're going to be stuck in a range for the majority of the day. When you got that big time liquidity on both sides in a tight range like that. So with that said, days open, a ton of people ready to buy it up at $38. And sure enough, they do. They buy it all the way up to 40, which is where the big liquidity is sitting at. The sellers are ready to take profit, knock that bad boy down. Sure enough, where they knock it to the next major level, which was just above, was what, 39. They bought it up, started buying it up. Well, they actually jumped in the book just before. See, here's the big level, but you see they snuck in front of them and started buying it up at 30, 39, 20. So again, this is stuff you will never, ever see with a lagging indicator. Again, pushes all the way up to $40. They knock it right back down, and then it proceeds to go back up, and that's where it's hanging out to end the day. So there you go, AMC apes. Got your order book for y'all today. Facebook, talked about Facebook having nice liquidity at 345 and 340. Yeah, 340 was really the golden buy the dip today. And why would I say that? Well, this is what it looked like. So as you can see here, there is tons of liquidity sitting at this. You know what? I'd really like to get these volume bars off my chart. Why don't I need volume when I can see where the orders are? Nothing wrong with knowing what the volume is, though. That's the gasoline to get you to these levels. All right. With that said, yeah, 743, 742, and 740 was the big one. That was the big one of the day. That was the monster liquidity for the day. There's no way that I'm on 1 minute candles here. Okay, I was about to say, it's like that is not enough candles for the day. All right, so with that said, comes down here to 742. They pop it right back up to the VWAP, $3. Yeah, Facebook was crazy weak today. I mean, just really just dumped against the overall market. Again, I mean, it was well, you got to rely on the order book, and because I grant you, start the day, there was a ton of people because this thing dumped. I mean, it was hanging out at 360 in the pre-market, and she dumped like a bad habit, and there's probably goofballs buying the dip they were just loading up. Oh, 350. Oh man, just keep buying it. It's like, no, you don't buy the dip until you have the big levels of liquidity to buy the dip off of. And in this case, you didn't get them until, they started coming in at, 343, 342. But the big one was 340. So if you're going to buy the dip, this is 340 is the spot to buy the dip today. And sure enough, you see it comes down here. Man, they couldn't even wait. Because again, when you see this, that's why you can't, when you see in a situation like this, you see lots of liquidity at 50 cent and dollar increments. You can't necessarily wait for your big liquidity hit, because any one of these levels could be the, give it all the buyers it needs to pop it right back up. So that's why in this situation, you're buying the dip. Okay, I got orders on top of here. I got orders on top of here, and I got orders on top of here. So you really want to buy the dip and make sure that you don't miss it. You wait till you get close to the big. Now, granted, it'd been nice if it was just, one big level that would have made it super, super easy. Yeah. But in this case, you got to understand the rest of the market's pushing up, so it can bounce at any time. So you don't want to miss the the opportunity. Sure enough, pops this thing all the way up to 347. So like I said, us saying in the pre-market 345 and 340. Yeah, that was he ends up popping at 340. Yeah, 340, 60, 60-ish, somewhere in there. So that was Facebook. What else? We talked about a short on Moderna. Short Moderna at 340, which was the first big band of liquidity. And yeah, comes up here, ends up rejecting $2 off of 340. So nice, quick, easy scalp there. With that said, it finally pushes through. Finally pushes through 340. But again, what do you see as soon as it pushes? You got sellers at every dollar increment. That tells me, hey, this ain't no, oh, it's going to just start going through the moon. No. Now, if it was little to no orders in here, it was mainly just whitish blue, and then had this big band here at 345, and I see support on 340. Oh yeah, jumping on the bandwagon to, ride it up to 345. But in this situation, you got to expect it, several, 2 to 3, $1, $2, $3 pullbacks as it tries to make its way up to this 445 liquidity. So again, pushes up to 342, drops it all the way back down to 339. So a little $3 drop there, then finally comes back in. It tries to push back up. Sellers are sitting there ready at 341. They knock it back down, to $1.50. Again, SPY's pushing it this time, so it's okay. See, it gets on top, finally gets on top of the 341 support candles. What's that telling us? It tells us that we are heading for the next major level. In this case, 344. Well, the big one was 345, but same time, when I have a lot of liquidity within dollar increments, I don't get cute. Take your profit here at 344. And yeah, because again, you can make that little bit that you would potentially give up for it pushing, so in this case, say you got an extra, 90 cents out of it. Well, you can make that 90 cents back really easy when it pushes up to this 345. You take profit and you shorten right up underneath this liquidity. So you easily would have made that back. So you're better off, go ahead and take your profit here, be safe. And let's say I was shorting there. Comes down 348, spin buyers there. Those buyers there all throughout the day. And sure enough, pushes right back up to 344. And hopefully, these people would have learned their lesson, that it took profit when it got to 344 again. But, unfortunately, a lot of them probably didn't. Anyway, knocks it right back down from 344 all the way to 339. So, yeah, that's almost $5 rejection there. And then sideways, ends up dumping it to the VWAP. Always buyers there when you're above it. And they end up popping it all the way back up to, they started learning their lesson now. You see they didn't make it all the way to 344 this time. Yeah, they got ahead of it this time to get out before 444 this time. So, and then they dump it back to 440. So let me see. I had a request by one of our new members, really nice guy. He requests applied materials for me to check out. Let's see here. All right. Tell you what, I'm going to need to see a little bit more data. Sorry, patience. If you ain't got the patience for this to load, you don't have the patience to trade. All right, so, oh my goodness, get off of these 10-cent increments. What are we doing here? It's where a lot of people mess up with the order book. They get sucked into these little bitty increments, and it's like, no, you want the big stuff. All right, I'll take the 50-cent increments for you, AMAT. All right, so applied materials, what we got here? Well, hanging out at the VWAP all day. Granted, what do we have here? We got some sellers right there at 137, and then buyers at the VWAP. So they were keeping it in a tight trading range. And let me see. So again, we're, as far as our bias for applied materials is to the upside. 345, which you want to be, taking profit just below that, and 350. That's where the overall market can hold. That's where it's going. So we see we got people wanting to buy here at 130 and 125. So if it gets down there, you're gonna have at least $2 to $5 scalp bounces off of those. So applied materials, let's see what. All right, see the bands of sellers, right? I mean, they're just holding it down all day. Let me guess, it's gonna get to this VWAP and bounce. Yep. There you go. And let me guess, when it gets to this, it's going to reject. Yep. And then when it gets to VWAP, it's going to bounce again. Yep. And yeah, that's it. Well, that was a boring day. Yeesh. With that said, there's people looking to sell at 139. So if you need to take some profit, that's a good take profit and see. Take your profit there. If you get support candles, you start getting support candles on 140. Yeah, then play it to the 145. Get out just. Oh yeah, there's gonna be a nice rejection of 145, 146. I don't know how much, $2 to $5, but it's gonna reject. But the goal is to get to, well, honestly, 145, 146. That's, yeah, that one's loaded with more people than 150. So yeah, 144 is definitely a take profit and see probably 144, 69, 144, 79. Yeah, so you don't miss the boat. So, but with that said, this will be, if I'm not taking advantage of something else, which I probably will be, yeah, once it does get up here, that'll be easy. That'd be some easy short scalping money there. So that's AMAT. Bitcoin, we threw up a chart last night of Bitcoin retesting the 40K buyers at a nice 38K and 40K loaded with buyers for Bitcoin. So again, it's got to absorb those. So yeah, it's going to need to retest those. I think it might be able to punch through. If Bitcoin retests 340, yeah, it'll probably have absorbed enough orders from the first two hits on 340 to, yeah, go ahead and knock it down to 38K. Got some nice entries ready to go at 38 in that 38K range for Bitcoin. So with that said, that'll do it for today's order bookmap session. Hope that helped you. Haven't come and checked out the server. Yep, you need to. We're using bookmap throughout the day for our plays, and it's yeah, we've definitely I don't think with this, like I said, being able to, if you're not being greedy and you're playing what the market gives you, I mean, you can pick up some pretty easy money. So with that said, I hope that it helped you out today. If you have any questions, just come on over to the server and then just send me a direct message. I'd be more than happy to help you out with any questions that you have. And with that said, may the market be with you.